following show is controversial and contains content you may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised.
98 FM's Dublin Talks. Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Good morning. It is Wednesday morning. This is Adrian Kennedy for this 27th day of February 2019. And how are you this morning? I hope everything is good with you. Between now and midday today, this is 98 FM's Dublin Talks, the mid-morning talk and phone-in show for Dublin, by Dublin, and about Dublin. If you want to get in contact with us, you can call us. That's the best way to contact us on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98, and that's the same number if you want to send us a WhatsApp voice message 0877 98 98 98. So what is coming up on today's program? In a moment, pregnant women, it's murder over this actually, pregnant women could soon be breath tested during hospital visits to check if they're smoking on the sly. It is believed that many pregnant women are smoking but not admitting it to their doctors because obviously there's a bit of a shame factor or whatever. So rather than saying to the doctor, yes doc, I am actually smoking even though I'm pregnant and everything else, they don't admit it. They keep it to themselves. We're going to be asking whether or not you would support women being breath tested in order to ascertain whether they're smoking or not. Or is this a complete and utter invasion of somebody's privacy? In other words, if a woman wants to smoke when she's pregnant, much and all as the rest of us might think it's awful, it's none of our business what she does. I'd like to get your opinions on that in just a moment. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. You can call us on 6797 981. That dessert that you want to order is 800 calories. You'd have to do a 2-hour run to work that chocolate brownie off your belly. Well, restaurants may soon be forced to print calories on their menus, and I want to know whether or not that will ruin the dining experience for you. Front page on today's Irish Daily Mail says, law will force restaurants to display calories. And we want to know whether or not that would ruin the dining experience. You know, you're about to order your dessert. And I don't know about you, but when I'm out, I love a dessert. Love it, love it, love it. And then I look at the chocolate brownie and realise that it has 825 calories. Is that going to turn me off because I might get fatter? The whole idea is to try and cut down on obesity. I would like to hear from you on that a little bit later on. And even though we're all grown up now, there are still things our parents do that embarrass us. I want to know, last week we spoke on the programme on things your kids have done to embarrass you. I want to completely turn it on its head and talk about things that your parents did to embarrass you, either recently or when you were a kid. We'll talk about that later on. It's a busy show between now and midday today, as it is every day. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy. Now, first off on the programme today, and I'd love to get your opinions on this. We all know that smoking during pregnancy isn't a good thing, bad for the unborn baby, yet every day hundreds of pregnant women in Ireland continue to do so. Whether it's just a couple of puffs a day to calm the nerves, or maybe half a pack of cigarettes every day, or smoking a full 20 every day. It happens every single day. Well, according to latest figures that were from last year, around 12% of Irish women continue to smoke during pregnancy. Some women were reported smoking more than 10 cigarettes a day during their pregnancy. So this clearly is an issue. We all know, our mammies when we were younger possibly smoked, but we know the dangers now, and we know that you shouldn't really be smoking when you're pregnant. I know an awful lot of people say, well, I smoked when I was pregnant, it did my child no harm. But we all know that we shouldn't be smoking, or women shouldn't be smoking when they're pregnant. Well, the issue today has been revealed that pregnant women could be breath tested in hospitals for smoking. Because, as I said, a lot don't admit it to their doctor now. They have some chewing gum before they go in to meet the doctor and don't admit that they're smoking. Well, the study found that many women are actually secretly hiding it. They hide their smoking habits, and then they miss out on vital monitoring of their pregnancy and end up having more problems as a result, according to the study of women attending the Coombe Hospital here in Dublin. It found a high number of women with carbon monoxide levels, an indicator of smoking, had not declared to staff that they were smoking during their pregnancy. An increased level of breath carbon monoxide was associated with lower birth weight of babies and an increased risk of adverse pregnancy and neonatal outcomes. Now, the author of the study from the Coombe University College Dublin said it may be time to look at asking women to take breath tests for smoking. A high reading was result in the woman being sent to services to help her stop smoking and more close monitoring of the baby. So here's the question. Should women be breath tested to see if they're smoking? 6797981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98, and that's the same number if you want to send us a WhatsApp voice message 0877 98 98 98. I'd love to hear from you. We decided to try and find a woman who has done this, who smoked on 2 pregnancies, and I'm going to talk to her in just a moment. But before that, I want to talk to John Mallon, who is from Forest, Ireland. John, for people who don't know, tell me exactly what Forest Ireland is and does. Hello, John? Oh, he's not there. Oh, he's on this line here. Now, you there, John?
Yeah, I am, mate.
Sorry,
Can you
John.
hear me?
I can. Now, John, tell me, please, what Forest Ireland is and does.
Okay, Forest is an organisation set up to defend smokers' rights. It's as simple as that. We try to give the smokers' view, although very often, as with everything else in our society, the prevalent narrative is always the one that's pounded out. We're an afterthought a lot of the time, but we do try to defend smokers' rights. And in this case, this is just yet another example of heavy-handedness, if you like. The people do smoke. There's still nearly a quarter of the population down here smoke, quarter to a fifth. It's difficult to know. The figures change every day, but and they do so of their own free will, and it's a decision they make themselves. And we have advocated for years that people have to be educated to the dangers. But as adults, we also say that people should be allowed to make up their own minds. And, you know, I don't know what, you know, pregnant women being tested, breathalyzed or whatever, and then what? They're going to be sent to some place to help them to quit. Perhaps they don't wish to quit. I don't know if that's entered anyone's head. And
you obviously believe, even if it's a woman who's pregnant, and we have to accept, John, that it's not ideal for a woman to be smoking when she's pregnant.
There's a lot of things in life, Adrian, that aren't ideal.
Correct. Okay, I agree with that. Yep. But in terms of this suggestion that it may be time to look at asking women to take breath tests for smoking, because it is believed that a lot of women don't admit that they're smoking to their doctors. You think that's a step too far, do you?
I do, of course. I mean, you know, what are they trying to make these women out to be? There's a lot of people don't necessarily tell the truth when they're asked how much they drink. The exact same thing. Now, to my mind,
this is slightly different, John, in that we're talking about pregnant women, so it's not just the woman. We're talking about the child and the possible implications for the child of the mother continuing to smoke.
Yeah, and the word in there is possible. There's a lot of other possible things that could go wrong, just besides a bad outcome from smoking for an unborn child. But in the end of the day, you can't legislate for every single part of people's lives. There has to be the freedom to choose. People have to have the freedom to choose. But I would suggest very strongly that it would help if at the point of pregnancy, it's the obvious point and the first test, if a woman was educated to the dangers, but she still, in the end of the day, has to make up her own mind. Otherwise, what have you got but a police state? I mean, you know, you're advocating a type of fascism there where the citizen can be forced to do against their will. That's all wrong.
Okay, so if a pregnant woman wants to smoke, and if a pregnant woman wants to even hide the fact that she's smoking, you're saying that's her business and nobody else's?
Well, of course it is. It's hers and her child. I mean, she is, by definition, going to be a mother. She's going to have a child. And we all know the strong bonds between a woman and her child. So she won't necessarily set out to do a child damage. Of course not. Now, if she's educated to the fact that there are risks involved, she's got to figure it out. And then, you see, this completely ignores the fact that for a lot of people, smoking is a very, very difficult habit to quit. You can't just click your fingers and say quit. It's very, very difficult. What do you do to the woman who tries and fails? Is she to be penalised in some way? And where does all that end? I don't know, Adrian. It makes me very uneasy when I hear about this authoritarian approach to things. It's not the right way. You get people on your side if you give them the choice and they can do it themselves.
Okay, so this suggestion of breath-tasting pregnant women to see if they are secretly smoking is a complete invasion of their privacy.
A complete invasion of their privacy, but it's also treating them like an infant themselves. They're taking on a huge responsibility with a child. Educate them to the dangers, not just of smoking, but the dangers of a whole pile of things around them while they're pregnant. Educate them by all means. Support them, comfort them, yes. But order them around, send them here and send them there because you disapprove. That's very judgmental, and it becomes very subjective instead of objective. It's objective if you help them, if you educate them. That's an objective behaviour.
But to try and nearly shame them into stopping smoking is wrong, you believe?
It's not just wrong, it's repulsive. And you wonder about the nature of the people who think that it's the high-handed authority to assume that over somebody else. That has to be questioned.
All right. John Mallon from Forest Island, Ireland, thank you very much indeed for joining us on 98 FM. Well, do you agree with them that this is a step too far? Obviously, a woman who's pregnant will be told that it's not a good idea to smoke and whatever. But what we believe now is that a number of women actually conceal the fact that they're smoking from their doctors. And this suggestion is that women would be breath tested while they're pregnant to see if they are secretly smoking. And I'd love to hear from you on this on 6797981. Maybe you think this is a brilliant idea and it's about time that we clamp down on women smoking and shame them into giving them up if necessary. Or maybe you believe that this is just a step too far. It's their body, their choice. If you're somebody who did smoke during pregnancy, I'd love to hear from you on 6797981. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. Laura, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Laura?
Hiya.
Now, Laura, you've two children and you smoked during their pregnancies.
I did. I smoked on both my children. I did try to give up, but all I managed to do was just cut down on the amount of cigarettes I was smoking. But it's not as easy as people make out. It's very easy for someone who doesn't smoke to stand by and judge and say, oh, it's disgraceful what she's doing, smoking while pregnant. It's extremely difficult to give up, and especially when you're pregnant, because for a lot of people it's an extremely tough time to go through. When you're pregnant, it's really not easy to do. I did try on both mine and I couldn't do it.
Now, did you admit to your doctor that you were smoking?
I did on my first baby.
And not on your second?
Well, no, because on my first baby, the looks you get off the doctor and they're constantly whinging at you to give up, and the looks alone are enough to kill. When you're in the hospital, oh, you shouldn't be smoking, that's very bad for your baby. A baby can have this and can have that. And
so you're you're shamed, basically. You're guilted.
Yeah.
But is that not a good thing? I mean, you know yourself, Laura, that you probably shouldn't have been smoking.
No, I shouldn't have been. Don't get me wrong. It's not a good thing to smoke when you're pregnant. And I really did try hard to give them up. I couldn't do it. I really, really couldn't do it. I tried the stuff in the chemist. I tried the patches, the glom. I couldn't.
No matter what you tried, you couldn't give them up. Okay, so what about this idea? And you, on your second pregnancy, were one of the people that's being talked about here. You hid it from your doctor. You didn't admit it to your doctor. From what you're saying, Laura, because you couldn't have been arsed with all the crap that goes with it if you admitted that you were smoking. Am I right?
Yep.
Okay, so how would you feel if your doctor was to say to you, we're going to do a breath test, this is a standard breath test just to see if you're smoking? What would you say?
I wouldn't do it.
Point blank?
Point blank, I'm not doing it. I wouldn't let anybody shame me again. Not in a million years.
Some people argue, and in fact you regularly see this. I saw somebody only recently. I was on a bus going past the Rotunda Hospital, and somebody stuck their phone out the window to take a photograph of a pregnant woman standing outside the hospital. And this is something that regularly gets sent into us here. You obviously believe it is your body, your choice, and even though you know you probably shouldn't be smoking, how dare anybody try to shame you into not smoking?
Exactly, and to be fair, that could have been me because I was in the Rotunda, and that's another thing I have a massive issue with. On my first child, at the time, there was a little smoking area, I remember, at the back of the Rotunda. It was completely concealed. It was the little shelter with some benches, and that's where people went to have their smoke. On my second child, I was made to stand outside the front of the hospital in front of everybody after just having a baby to have a cigarette. And you wouldn't believe the amount of people that would walk by and look down at you or give you evils because you're standing there having a smoke. It's just shaming women.
All right, do me a favour, Laura. Stay on the line there for 1 second if you can, please. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp us on 0877 98 98 98. The authors of a study from the Coombe and UCD have said it may be time to look at asking women to take breath tests for smoking. The idea is, a lot of women, like Laura, she just admitted it there, on her second pregnancy, she did not admit to her doctor that she was smoking. And the reason being that on her first pregnancy, when she did admit it, she was literally shamed. It became very difficult. Every time she'd see the doctor, she was given a lecture about smoking. So the second time, she decided not to tell the doctor because it just wasn't worth the hassle. Should somebody like Laura be breath tested? And if she's found to be smoking, she could be sent to services to help her stop smoking. The baby can be more closely monitored. Just out of curiosity, Laura, were there any health implications from your smoking on your babies?
No, not that I can remember. No, not really.
No. Okay.
They both born at good weights, no breathing problems, both thriving today.
All right, stay there for 1 second, Laura. 6797 981 is our telephone number. Text or WhatsApp or send a voice message to 0877 98 98 98. Rory, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Rory?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Good, thanks, Rory. Now, your mother smoked during her pregnancy on you, and it did have health implications.
It did. Now, I'm not going to say 100%. Neurologist said it was likely a contributory factor. So, yeah, I was born with hydrocephalus, which is effectively it's a blockage in the brain that causes fluid to build up, and it requires an operation, which I had at 8 months, to put in a shunt to redirect the fluid and allow the pressure to go down. It caused convulsions, dangerous convulsions, up to the age of 5 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so...
And okay, now hydrocephalus is quite a serious condition, but I'm sure babies born of mothers that don't smoke and never smoked can develop hydrocephalus.
This is true. Hydrocephalus and spina bifida, which are linked, at the same time. This is coming directly from the neurologist who said it's a contributory factor, and that there's a higher rate of hydrocephalus among pregnancies where women smoke, or it can also be increased by people who drink heavily.
Okay, now we know that smoking and or drinking isn't the ideal thing to be doing when you're pregnant. I think any woman who's Half a brain knows that. However, what is your thought on this idea of breath testing women so that somebody like Laura, who on her second pregnancy hid it from her doctors, can be actually found out?
Okay, so it's tricky, okay, because, right, obviously, on the face of it, this is a civil liberties breach. However, I don't think it's a bad thing that the doctor has all the information when trying to treat a fetus, especially if that fetus becomes sick at any point. Now, here's the thing though. Why are we only talking about breathalyzing pregnant women? Any person who goes into the hospital and lies about smoking to the doctor is not providing the information that the doctor needs. This isn't just about babies.
No, that's true. But surely people have a free will and free choice. And maybe you're embarrassed about the fact that you're still smoking when you were meant to have given. Believe me, I've been here and done this, Rory, where you give them up and then you start smoking again, but you don't tell anybody. You just don't admit it to anybody, and you're secretly smoking. The fact of the matter is that if a pregnant woman continues to smoke and doesn't want to admit it because, like Laura, she'll be shamed, surely it's her right to keep that information to herself.
And expect the same level of medical care without providing the information? That's tricky. I mean, the whole purpose of this is not to shame people. It is so that the doctor has all of the information, knows what to expect, can use existing medical data.
Okay, so Laura, when you hear somebody like Rory who believes that the hydrocephalus that he developed may have been caused by smoking, is that not enough reason that doctors need to know whether you're smoking or not?
Of course they need to know, but at the risk that they're just going to shame you for 9 months, sometimes it's just easier just to keep it to yourself.
All right, do me a favour, stay on the line, both of you, if you can, please. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice message.
People smoking are disgusting. Give up the habit. Disgusting.
Right, okay. That really doesn't answer the question about whether or not women should be breath tested. And here's another one.
I have a baby. I don't smoke. I rarely drink. I just socially drink. There's not a chance that I would harm a baby, as much as when I was pregnant I was actually craving alcohol. There's not a chance that I would have or put my baby in risk, in danger. I think that people should be ashamed of themselves if they are smoking and they're pregnant. You're growing a baby inside you, come on, and I would be one of them people that walk by the rotunda and look people up and down, because I would have been in a position where it wouldn't have been easy for me to be pregnant. So when I was attending the rotunda for different reasons, and then I'd walk by and see people smoking with big bumps in front of them, so I think it's an absolute disgrace.
Okay, we'll take a quick break. We're back in a sec.
98 FM's Dublin Talks with Des Kelly Interiors. New store now open at Belgard Road, Tala.
98 FM.
And this is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. We're in the middle of a conversation about something that people do feel very strongly about. I recognise that, and that is women smoking when they're pregnant. But what has happened in recent years, and you heard Laura tell her story that on her first pregnancy she admitted to her doctor that she smoked, yet on her second pregnancy she decided not to because of all the grief that she was getting. And a new report out today has suggested that women be asked to be breath tested for smoking in order to find out the ones that aren't telling the truth, in order to suss out whether they're secretly smoking. I'd love to hear from you on 6797 981. This is an interesting take on it.
I'd just like to know, those mothers who smoke when they're pregnant, if and when the baby's born and somebody comes in to visit, be it a family member or a friend, if they're holding the newborn baby and the person that's holding the baby is smoking, would they ask them to put the cigarette out? It's the same thing, really.
Yeah, and they probably would. Niamh, that was your message that I played before the break there. You recently had a baby and you think it's a disgrace when pregnant women smoke.
I do.
I am literally just in the park with my little boy here now, and the thought of doing something to harm him would absolutely destroy me. And I think it's a disgrace that people smoke when they're pregnant. As I said in my message, when I was pregnant, I don't really drink that much either. And when I was pregnant, I was craving alcohol. I'm not going to go and down a bottle of vodka or down a few drinks just because that's something that I'm craving. Like, I just think it's disgraceful.
Okay, now, you take that to the next level, and then we're talking about breath testing women to see if they're secretly smoking, which is what Laura did on her second pregnancy. She secretly smoked. She didn't tell the doctors because of all the crap that she was getting. Can you not understand why that is a complete invasion of somebody's privacy to be breath testing them?
Come here, listen, you're only pregnant for a couple of months. I'm surely to God you can give up smoking for a couple of months until the baby is born, and then you can smoke away. It's only for a couple of months. And yeah, maybe breath testing people and checking up. They're growing a baby inside them. You see the pictures on the front of cigarettes, and you see what damage it does. And people think that it's okay to have a smoke while they have a baby, while they're pregnant. Like, come on, I just don't get it. Like,
Laura, you were saying earlier on, I want to just bring you back in on this. You were saying earlier on that you were shamed when you were smoking on your pregnancy by the doctors and whatever, and that's the reason that you kept the second one. During the second one, you kept your smoking secret. Niamh is basically saying you should be ashamed.
Now you know why people keep it a secret and don't tell anybody. Number one, I'd like to say to Niamh, I never once said it was okay to smoke when you were pregnant. I don't think it was okay that I smoked when I was pregnant.
Why couldn't you give it up for a couple of months then, if that's the case? I'm only pregnant for a few months. A girl I worked with...
Comparing it to cravings while you're pregnant is completely ridiculous. I craved a lot of crap when I was pregnant. Didn't eat it all the time because, to be honest, I'd been eating prawn cocktail crisps all day, every day. It's not the same thing. I was completely and hooked on nicotine, and I could not for the life of me give it up. I tried very, very hard, and all I could manage to do was cut down on the amount I was smoking.
Hey, come here. Look, I get that. I get that you're addicted. It's an addiction, but you have a baby inside you. There's people out there that pay thousands and thousands to have a baby, and people just smoke their brains out, thinking that it's all right. It's not all right. Like,
I didn't think it was okay every time I put a cigarette in my mouth. And that is why people don't tell doctors when they're smoking. It's because the likes of what you were saying, completely shaming them, telling them what they're doing is disgraceful. Of course they already know that. Of course they know it's not good for the
child. But then why can't you give it up then if you think that it's disgraceful?
It's a lot easier said than done.
Come here, listen, I walked with a girl who's on her second pregnancy now, and she's given up her smoke. She's given up smoking while she's pregnant. It can be done. It's just that you have to do it. You have a baby inside you, and it's disgraceful. And I will be one of them people that walk by the rotunda, because I attended the rotunda because I couldn't get pregnant. And when I walked by and I seen people with bumps and they're smoking and they're standing in their pajamas, it's a disgrace. And I'm sorry, but you probably weren't standing out there with your bump and your pajamas and your smoke or whatever. But I've seen people, and I've seen them, and it is disgraceful.
It's disgraceful.
Do you not get, Niamh? Okay, do you not get, Niamh, what this is doing? It is making pregnant women like Laura hide it and not let you know that she's smoking, because of the shame that people think that they can just dish towards her.
I just think that you should. So there should be maybe support out there for people that do smoke and that they are addicted to smoking. It's the same obviously with alcohol addiction. There should be help out there for people, but you have to want to help yourself as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know that you are growing a baby. That's what I don't understand, that people know that they're growing a baby inside them, and they know.
Have you ever been a smoker, Niamh?
Never.
No.
I took a smoke. And it's disgusting. My mum and dad smoke, our friends that smoke, girls that smoke, and it just wouldn't.
Okay, the point I'm trying to make is you've never been a smoker, so therefore you probably don't understand how difficult it is to give them up.
No, well, I take you're a smoker, Adrian, are you?
Yeah, and have struggled for years to give them up.
But Adrian, if you are pregnant, if you are a woman,
it's a hypothetical question. I can't answer that because I'm never going to be. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. All I do know is that I have struggled for years to give them up. And that's the point.
Let's say your partner was pregnant and was smoking. How would you feel about that?
I don't think I'd be overly happy about it, but I certainly wouldn't lecture her about it. No, or
well,
shame her.
Would you help her?
Yeah,
would you help her?
But the only person who can give up smoking is the smoker. Nobody else.
Yeah.
Nobody else. Stay there for a second. Let me bring in some more calls on this. 6797 981 is our telephone number. Matthew, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Matthew?
How do you do?
Good, thanks, Matthew. What's your view on this?
Disgusting, smelly individual that people are who are pregnant and smokers.
So let's shame them again.
They don't deserve to have children. They are probably the same people who have a problem to slap the child when they grow up, but they don't see any problem when they're smoking. And they basically killing. My wife used to work in the Rotunda, and she said after delivery the baby, the staff in the hospital can see the difference between the child from the person who wasn't smoker and who was smoker.
We heard Laura saying a couple of minutes ago that there were no health implications on her two children.
She's lucky, and she can't see any results of that on the beginning. Might be results inside the child. What's she gonna do then? Then it's too late. She should consider that when she's pregnant, give up that altogether.
Laura, do you see calls like this and Niamh a moment ago as just more shaming?
It is more shaming. And
it is.
Seriously, hang on, shut up for a minute. Adrian, can you understand now why people hide it from doctors and nurses? Because this is what you get. This is the bullshit you get for 9 months straight. It is, number one, it is not easy to give up smoking. And number two, it is even 100 times more
Listen, I quit cigarette for my child. Don't say to me it's not easy to quit, okay? Because I'm previous smoker. I was smoking for 15 years until my son was born, and then I give up for him. Because I don't want to come back home stinky and smelly and puff into him. And you as the mother carrying the child, and you can't do it. It's only excuses. You are lazy, smelly individual.
You see, here's the thing, Matthew. Saying things like that is going to make more women, not less, more women who are smokers while they're pregnant hide the fact.
And should I feel shame because I'm saying the truth? She should be shamed. Because she's carrying the child and she's killing that child inside. If you don't want to give up cigarette, don't have a children.
Okay, stay there for 1 second because you want to hear this next story from Steve. Steve, this conversation has triggered you. It has angered you. Why?
Because I'm on the way to a hospital now for my partner to give birth to a stillborn baby now. And every time I've been going to the hospital all week, and when I go into the hospital, we walk in there and you see women outside the hospitals where there's designated smoking areas, in their pyjamas with big bellies. It's not one day, it's every day, smoking. And you've got doctors and nurses coming here and no one says anything. And I see these people back on the wards as if to say it's just the norm, and no one said anything about it. I mean, surely something's drastically wrong. And then when you're talking about should women be breast tested during pregnancy, I would agree with it. I'm not saying that women can't smoke, and if they smoke before being pregnant, but certainly don't smoke whilst you're being pregnant. But when it's obvious in front of you and you're walking in and seeing it and it's outside the hospital, I mean, what would you say?
Okay, so sadly, you're heading to hospital now?
I'm on my way there to the hospital now because my partner has got to give birth to a stillborn. You're walking past.
I'm really sorry to hear that. Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. Yeah, go on.
And then you've got heavily pregnant women, for whatever reason, standing outside the hospital smoking, and you just think it's crazy. And no one says anything. And it's not just one day as a one-off. The same persons and the same people are there every day because we've been at the hospital all week.
So it angers you when you see, on the one hand, obviously, what you're going through and a stillborn baby, and on the other hand, women who have healthy pregnancies yet continue to smoke. That really angers you.
Yes, and the fact that they're about to give birth outside in a hospital, and then you've got people, doctors and nurses coming in and out, because doctors and nurses are smoking outside, the staff smoke outside the hospital as well, and no one says anything to them, and they go back as if it's the norm. But yet we're talking about getting women to take a breath test to see if they are smoking during pregnancy, but it's actually, they can actually see it at the hospital. So what chance have you got? And it upsets me to think, God, gee, do you know what? If you only knew what some people are going through, but yet you're just about to give birth to a baby, and it's like chain smoking.
So describe then, please, Steve, to somebody who's listening to us right this minute, who is pregnant, who is smoking, and describe what you've been going through.
What, at the moment?
Yes.
Adrian, do you know what? I can't even explain it, because how I felt from Saturday, from going in to find out the birth of our baby and to find out there was no heartbeat, to be going into a hospital, and obviously I thought I was a strong person emotionally. Obviously I'm in bits, but I've not even got over the half of it, because I'm going into a hospital to support my partner to give birth to a baby that's passed over. What can you say? I don't even know what's going to happen from here on, or how I'm going to be. But it's just distraught for me when I walk in and I think to myself, Jesus Christ, you haven't got a clue. You're standing there just about to give birth to a baby, and yet you're smoking, and there's not once. You see them there. I've seen them there, the same people there all week. It's just... And then you're talking about, should breath testing be done for women that have smoked? Unfortunately, I would like to say yes, I would love for that to happen, because I don't know what reasons and why.
Sorry, Steve, just because a woman might be breath tested and just because a doctor might find out that she has actually been smoking doesn't mean she's going to stop.
Well, no, but it is all individual. But at the end of the day, I believe that maybe more insight needs to be put to these people that do smoke during pregnancy, just to highlight exactly how serious it can be.
All right, let me just bring in one last call on this. And Steve, I appreciate your honesty and sharing your story with us, and thanks very much indeed for talking to us. And best wishes to both yourself and to your partner.
Thank you very much.
All right, let me just bring in one last call on this, and that's you, Susan. You had 2 kids. You did give up smoking, but you think it's awful how smokers are shamed.
I do. Do you know what? You get tired of people not being able to have the right to make their own decisions. Everybody wants to have an input on somebody else's life. And I just, you know, it's up to the individual person whether she wants to smoke or not. And at the end of the day, if that's her choice, that's her choice. Who is it to anybody to shame them like that? I thought that man on before that poor young man there was absolutely disgusting how he spoke, saying that they were smelly, dirty people. That's dreadful to refer to anybody like that.
Here's the reality, though. It is one of those conversations that people get very angry about. They can't, especially non-smokers, can't for the life of them understand how a woman could continue to smoke when she's pregnant. And
well, it is,
like I said,
it's a very bad addiction.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. As somebody who's struggled with smoking for years, and tried and failed to give them up, I can put myself in the shoes of somebody who's a smoker, and I think it's very judgmental of people to, especially non-smokers, to automatically think that this person is a bad person because they continue to smoke.
I think it's awful. I was lucky enough to be able to give them up, but I could tell you, if I wasn't pregnant, I probably wouldn't have had the willpower to give it up, because I was more of a social smoker. So I wouldn't have been as addicted, if you like, as other people. My 2 children were in intensive care when they were born. And I know loads of people who smoked, and their children thrived.
That's true. That's true. All right, but again, we have to state that it is not ideal that women smoke during pregnancy, and if you can give them up, do give them up. Whether women should be breath tested to see if they're secretly doing it, I think that's just going to lead to more shaming.
I think that's a bit too extreme, personally.
All right, Susan, thanks very much indeed. And Laura, I want to thank you as well, because I know that there are a lot of women listening to us now who are smoking and they're pregnant, or did smoke and they were pregnant, but you're the only one who had the balls to actually be honest and open about it. So I really appreciate you talking to us.
No problem.
Good to talk to you, Laura. Thanks very much indeed. All right, you're listening to 98 FM's Dublin Talks. This is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. After the break, Dad, stop, you're embarrassing me. I want to know things you have done to embarrass, things your parents have done to embarrass you, either when you were a child or as an adult. Last week we spoke about things that our kids do to embarrass us. I want to completely turn it on its head this week and talk about things your parents did to embarrass you, or things that you've done that embarrassed your children. Call me right now on 6797 981. Back in a sec.
98 FM's Dublin Talks with Des Kelly Interiors. New store now open at Belgard Road, Tala.
98 FM.
And this is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. Jeremy is here with me for this little bit of our show. And this little bit of our show we want to devote to things that your parents did to embarrass the living daylights out of you.
Or continue to do,
yes. I'd love to hear from you. Text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. This could be something that happened to you last week, or could have happened to you when you were 15. For example.
Well, this is a post that originated on Cora, website Cora, Adrian, and it's entitled, Ma'am, Stop! Because that's exactly what it is. It's people of all ages. This isn't just kids. It's people of all ages posting about the things that their parents do to embarrass the hell out of them, or that they did in the past to embarrass the hell. Because your parents, as long as they're still alive, they will continue to embarrass you by stuff they do and say.
Here's an example. And this is something that still comes up in conversation, okay? About 10, 11 years ago, I was away on holidays with my kids in Portugal, yeah?
So they were
a great holiday.
Pre-teens, or about 9 or 10, were they at the time?
No, they were teenagers.
Okay.
Anyway, we went to this particular place for a bite to eat, and then they had a karaoke. And I thought I'd nothing better to do than to get up and sing a song at the karaoke, which I do from time to time.
Sat at the table and had your dessert, to be honest.
No, we were finished our dinner and everything else, and they started a karaoke, and I put my name up and I got up and I sang a karaoke song. My then 15-year-old absolutely stormed out of the place.
Sean did.
Yeah, he stormed out of the place with embarrassment. And
I can hear him. Dad, why did you do that?
Yeah, he didn't even discuss it. If you do that, I'm leaving. And I got up and he left. Now, the hotel was just across the road, so he went back over to the hotel, and he didn't talk to me for 24 hours because I got up and sang karaoke. I'd love to hear from you about things your parents have done to embarrass the hell out of you. And they do, either when you were younger or even up to recently. Call me right now on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp or send a WhatsApp voice message to 0877 98 98 98. What have your parents done to embarrass the hell out of you? Now you've...
Loads. It's mainly my mother. My father and mother are two completely different people. My mother, I think she used to go out of her way to embarrass me as a child. And I have three. I'll give the three quick examples. The first one was, and many of you can relate to this, summer evenings, you're out playing in your housing estate, yeah? Now, I grew up in quite a normal housing estate. Mm-hmm. Normal people. Some of the lads are a bit rough, you know what I mean? And I was always the kid that was called in before anybody else on the summer evenings. So some of the lads would be allowed to stay out on the streets till 11 o'clock. Mm-hmm. But come 9:30, my mother would open the front door. And you know my mother's airs and graces.
Yes.
She thinks she's the queen, like. she's not. And my mother would open the door at 9:30 when it was still bright. Yeah. And she'd shout across the estate, Jeremy, it's bedtime. Come in. And the lads would just look at me going, Jesus. Before that, when my mother used to drop me off at school, she used to kiss me on the head outside the school gates in front of all my mates and say, bye little sweetheart, bye little flower. That happened until I was about 17, by the way. That's actually true.
All right, we want you to text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. What did your parents do, or what do your parents do to embarrass the hell out of you?
I'd love to talk to someone as well who still goes to a nightclub with their parents. Does that still happen?
That's
or does
a bit embarrassing.
But does it happen? Is there one person listening to the show right now who has actually been in a nightclub with her parents? Have you ever been in a nightclub with Tony or Beth?
No.
Would Tony have an interest in going to a nightclub?
No.
But if he did, would you be embarrassed?
No. Oh, would I? No, I just wouldn't.
Oh, you wouldn't let him in?
It just wouldn't happen.
You'd tell the doorman to stop him.
All right, text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. We want to hear your stories of what your parents did to embarrass the hell out of you. So, where am I going? Joan, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Joan.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good,
Joan.
thank you, Joan. Now, what used your mammy do that embarrassed the living daylights out of you?
Oh, she used to go and get a perm in her hair. And I remember one particular morning, I was actually sitting in class and all I seen was this big bouncy hair. And I said, oh, Jesus, here she comes. And she'd only had to get in a fresh one that morning. And all the kids in the class, here's Joanne, Kirsty the clown, man. And it literally looked like anytime she got it done, it looked like she stuck her finger in the electric socket.
And what year was this? What decade was it that she got the perm done?
I was in 4th class, so I'm 35 now. So, geez, I was only 12 when that happened.
So it was the early 90s.
Early 90s.
Now,
yeah.
perms weren't even a thing.
They weren't really a thing. No.
Oh well, she thought she was gorgeous.
And nobody wants their mother being called Krusty the Clown by the whole class.
No, they don't.
I just sunk in the chair and I just thought, please don't be coming to my class. Please don't be coming to my class. Because she was actually on the board for the Parents Association. But my older brother was in the school as well. And I just remember, please don't come to my class. And then knock on the door and into your eyes with my lunch. Well, it's just so embarrassing.
That sounds embarrassing, all right. Thanks, Joan. What have your parents done, or what did your parents do to embarrass you? Because last week we did speak about what kids do to embarrass us as parents, but what did your parents do on you that embarrassed the living daylights out of you?
And it's amazing, even young kids can still get embarrassed by their parents. The last time we were on holidays, back in October, when we were in Spain, I like Hawaiian shirts, as you know, Adrian. Love Hawaiian shirts on holidays. It's my thing. I buy 5 Hawaiian shirts and wear them on holidays. And the first morning of our holidays, I put on this lovely... have you seen my blue and red Hawaiian shirts?
Oh, yeah, it's hideous, yeah.
Well, I decided to put that on the first day. You didn't tell me that when I bought it, by the way. And my son, who was only 3 at the time, was still aware of this, and he said, Daddy, don't wear that shirt, it's horrible. So you can be even embarrassed by your parents at the age of 3. It's gone, by the way. That shirt's in the bin now.
Good. What have your parents done to embarrass the hell out of you? Either recently or when you were younger. Text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. I'd love to hear from you. Anto, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Anto?
How's it going, Adrian?
Anto, what used your mum do?
Oh, disaster. Years ago there was these things called butter vouchers. I don't know if you remember or heard of them.
I did, and yes, butter vouchers. I can't remember. They were given out to get butter, were they?
Exactly. It says what it goes on the tin.
Yeah.
But, around our area, that wasn't the case. You'd get the call. You'd say, "Will you go to shop for me?" And I'd say, "Yeah, no problem." And then you hand the booklet, and you're looking and saying, "What the fuck is that like?" So she says, "Get me 20 John Player Blue."
With a butter voucher?
With about 20 butter vouchers.
Now, sorry, just for people who don't know, I've just looked this up, Anto, because I never heard of this. Butter vouchers were vouchers that were handed out by the Department of Agriculture as part of social welfare until 1999. So they've been around until like the last... until 1999. So unemployed people who were in receipt of social welfare, Adrian, would get a butter voucher so they could... It was to stop people using the social welfare on other things. So you'd have to use it for the essentials, okay? So,
but did these butter vouchers have cash value?
Our local shop took... I don't know. It was definitely a handful of them.
Actually, I'm looking at one here. This voucher entitles the bearer to purchase £1 of butter.
Or 20 fags.
But obviously they had a cash value that some shops would just take them for anything.
They take them, yeah.
Right, so you were shamed by being asked to go down to the shops with butter vouchers to buy a packet of cigarettes.
Once you hand it down, you're saying to yourself, oh shit. So you take the long walk to the shop, embarrassing walk, and you hover around the shop. You kind of wait until it's empty. As soon as it's empty, you make a run for it. You go in, you say 20 Jean-Pierre Bleu with your head down. They're counting it, and then the more embarrassing thing about it all is that if you hear the shop door open and someone's walking in behind you as they're counting you, you'd
be scarlet for yourself.
Yeah.
All right, John, thanks very much indeed. What did your parents do to embarrass you? That was Anto. John, I'll take your call straight after the break. Don't go away. Live and exclusive to Dublin's 98 FM, Monday through Friday between 10 and midday. This is Adrian Kennedy. You're with 98 FM's Dublin Talks. And Trish is here with Wednesday's top headlines.
Thanks, Adrian. A study suggests pregnant women should be breath tested during antenatal visits to check whether they're smoking. According to the Irish Times, women who hide their smoking habit miss out on vital monitoring of their pregnancy and end up having more problems as a result. The study was carried out women attending the Coombe Hospital. A new retail development, complete with the Stella Cinema, will open in Bray in 2020. Construction of Bray Town Centre has already begun. The 3-storey development will include 9 retail units, restaurants and cafe space and 250 car parking spots. 40% of sunbathe salons are not checking if people are over 18. A ban on allowing minors to use commercial sunbathes was brought in 5 years ago. However, a mystery shopper survey by the Irish Cancer Society has found that a third of salons are still knowingly taking bookings from under 18s. And restaurants could soon have to make it clear if their dishes are high in calories. The government's considering plans to ensure the calorie content is displayed on menus. The legislation is due to be published by the end of the year. And are you up to date on 98?
98 FM's Dublin Talks. Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
It's Wednesday. Good morning. I hope everything is good in your world. I'm Adrian Kennedy, and between now and midday today, this is 98 FM's Dublin Talks, the mid-morning talk and phone-in show for Dublin, by Dublin, and about Dublin. Now, we're currently talking about things that your parents did to embarrass the hell out of you. This is like flipping a conversation on its head that we had last week, which was about things your kids do to embarrass you. Now I want to know about what your parents did to embarrass you when you were younger. And there's loads of examples like this one from John in Shankill. John, you're on 98 FM. How are you?
Not too bad, Adrian. How are you?
Good, thanks, John. John, what did your mum do?
It was about 10 years ago. I was in the house with my girlfriend. We were in the kitchen having our own conversation. Now, my mother always speaks without thinking. So it was nothing new to us, but to my girlfriend it was fairly crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So she comes in. My sister was taking horse riding lessons at the time. And she comes in and she wanted to buy her a helmet, you know. And she comes in and she says, didn't think about it and just said, where would I get a riding hat?
Who calls it?
My girlfriend didn't know where to look. She didn't know what to do. And I just went red in the face and they were just like, what?
John, it actually reminds me of another thing my mother used to do to me that was embarrassing. I don't know if you, when you lived at home, did you used to bring girlfriends to the house or whatever?
After maybe 6 months or something.
Yeah. Because I remember one day bringing a girl now. We'd only been in a relationship a couple of weeks, and I remember bringing them home to the family house, John, one day, and going up to the bedroom. We were going to watch television together. We were going to actually watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer up in my bedroom together. So this is early 90s, and brought her up to the bedroom, Adrian. Now,
to watch Buffy?
My intentions were honourable, lads. Just wanted to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And we were on the bed together watching the TV. No funny business going on, and next minute I hear the footsteps. up and, oh, Jesus, what's my mother going to do? And she arrives in and she says, Jeremy, you know the rules. If there's women in the bedroom, the door must stay ajar at all times. It's like, why couldn't you even use the word...
What age were you then? 31?
31, yeah. Why couldn't you even use the word open? She had to say ajar. The door must stay ajar. And the girl just looked at me, John, and went, oh,
get me out of here.
So I ended up single the next day.
That's understandable. All right, good.
As I could say on the phone all day, but...
Did your mother ever get a riding hat?
Adrian?
I couldn't tell you. I didn't go back into conversation.
That's a brilliant story. Thanks very much indeed, John. What have your parents done to embarrass you, either now or in the past? Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice message.
My mum used to have a hairpiece, and every Saturday morning she'd give it to me to bring to the hairdressers to get it all touched up. And she had a little foam head, and I had to bring it to the hairdressers and wait for it, and they do it, and I'd bring it back home again. I used to be scarlet carrying it.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's brilliant. Thanks very much indeed. Marco, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Marco.
How's things?
Good, thanks, Marco. Tell me what your mum did.
I used to be in basically a full-time band when I was a couple of years ago. And any time I was leaving the house or whatever to go to the studio, my mum would ask, are you going to band lessons, Marco?
Band lessons?
Band lessons.
Oh, no.
That's like the
practice in the studio, and she would say band lessons.
It's like the thing from American Pie, this one time at band camp. Which is completely different. And what are band lessons?
There's no such thing. They were practicing.
Yeah, they were banging out the drum and stuff like that.
Right, so she would always call it band lessons.
Yup.
That's a great
what was
story.
the name of the band?
Radio Room was actually the name of the band.
And are they still a thing, Radio Room?
Unfortunately not.
No. How long did they last for?
We had a good stretch, about four-ish years.
Would we hear one of your songs on YouTube or anything?
Yeah, if you looked it up, I'm sure you'd find it.
Adrian, are you a fan of Radio Room?
Apparently I am. I didn't know it, but apparently I am. I was 12, says this message, when my mother brought me and my brother to see Flash Gordon in the Fairview Cinema back in the 80s. During the scene where he plays American football, my mother stood up and shouted, "Go, Flash, go!" at the top of her voice.
This one's even worse, Adrian.
In the cinema.
Maybe have a listen to this one. I used to hang around with a big group of boys and girls, and one day, I can just picture, okay? So he's standing on the side of the road with all his mates, trying to be the hard man, yeah? And one day, my mother drove past. She opened the window, and she said to me in front of all the boys and girls, "Just letting you know, I flipped your mattress since you peed the bed last night." What did they be thinking?
Oh, how embarrassing.
Mothers don't care. Sure they don't.
That is very embarrassing. Here's another WhatsApp voice message.
Hey, Adrian, how are you, Germany? My mother used to bring me to school, and she decided one day to reverse into the front of the school gates. And not only to make it worse, she was beeping at me, wondering where I was. And then not only to make it worse than that, she cuts out the car and the car wouldn't start. We ended up having to get a load of school kids and push us up the road to start the car again. Mortified.
Could be worse. He could have peed the bed.
Well, that's true. That would have been worse. And let's just read another couple that have come in to us. My mother followed me to my line in primary school. Continues to comb my hair, spit in her hanky, and clean my face all in front of my whole class. This was 40 years ago, and I still remember it well. Albeit with a smile nowadays, says Keith in Ballybrook.
I don't think that happens anymore.
What? Spitting on teeth?
No, because they invented wet wipes now. You don't have to spit on the tissue.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
We carry wet wipes with us no matter where we go. Imagine spitting on a child's face to clean them.
My father, says this message, used to flash his dole card when purchasing something. And I can remember me and him going to the rubbish dump in Bornabrina and flashing his dole card to get a discount to enter the dump. Then he would load his van with stuff from the dump and bring it home. How embarrassing. And let me see, do we have one more here? Yeah. One night I was in a club dancing away with my new boyfriend at the time, and a couple was close by dancing until I got a kiss off my boyfriend. I then got a tap on the shoulder. It was my parents standing there. I nearly died on the spot. Then my new boyfriend and my dad went to the bar and started doing shots.
Which answers the question I asked about 20 minutes ago. Do parents still go to nightclubs that their kids go to? The answer is yes.
Apparently so, yeah, apparently so. And yeah, there you go.
So can we go to see you in Club M or something like that some Saturday night when your daughter's there dancing?
No, I wouldn't do that to her.
Won't be happening.
No. Although I was in Madrid with my two a couple of weeks ago, and I, for the whole holiday, threatened to get up on stage and sing karaoke again. And Sean probably would have stormed out all over again. One last WhatsApp voice message.
Can't believe I'm even telling this story, but years ago, me and all my mates, it was a lovely day. We went down to the shop and we got a load of water balloons because... there was a gang of young fellas down the road we were having a water fight with, and I had a tap out the back garden, so I said we'd all go out there and fill up the water balloons. So I got all the lads together and we all ran down to my house and out the back garden. And who sits up at the sun lounger? Me mother, topless, mortified.
We actually...
Oh, you would be.
The reason we were talking about this is because a couple of weeks ago we were talking about things that your kids do to embarrass you. What I've actually realised, Adrian, is that parents do more embarrassing things on their kids than their kids do on them. These stories are horrific, aren't they?
They are brilliant stories. All right, thanks very much indeed. You're listening to 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
98 FM's Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
This is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday today. Now, next on the programme, here's something I want to get your opinions on. We all love eating out in restaurants. It's always a lovely treat. But do you want to know how bad the food you're eating is for you? When you're ordering dessert, do you need to know how many calories your apple pie contains? Would this ruin eating out for you? Are you someone who does look at the calories on menus when they're printed? Well, restaurants may soon be forced to display calories on menus under new proposals that were announced today. In fact, it's the front page of the Irish Daily Mail today. The headline reads, "Law will force restaurants to display calories." Health Minister Simon Harris said that he plans to publish the legislation by the end of the year as part of the government's obesity action plan. And as I said, the idea is to see how many calories are in each dish, that you will go for the healthier option. So you see dessert A with 800 calories and you see dessert B with 200 calories. If you're being health conscious, you will go for the less calories option. Now, I know a number of places do this already voluntarily. And one that I'm aware of that does put the calories on their menu is Wetherspoons. And Wetherspoons, for example, right, a half rack of barbecue pork ribs and 6 onion rings, 918 calories. Topped chips with barbecue pulled chicken, 1,314 calories. And then let's have a look at desserts. Okay, because we all love a dessert. Okay, now in the dessert category, if you wanted a warm chocolate brownie with ice cream, 804 calories. So the question that we're asking is, would that put you off if you see the calories on a menu? Here's the question I want to ask. Do you support legislation that would make it obligatory for all restaurants to have a calorie count beside every item on their menu? Text the word yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. Would you support the introduction of calorie counting on menus in restaurants being a legal thing? Text yes or no to 0877 98 98 98. I'd love to know how you feel about this. Is it necessary? Is it something that we need to do? in order to deal with obesity. As I said, that's what Minister Simon Harris says. He says the idea is that if you see how many calories a dish has, you may go for the healthier option. So I'd like to hear from you on 6797981. You can text or WhatsApp the programme on 0877 98 98 98. Do you calorie count when you're eating, basically? Adrian Cummins is from the Restaurant Association of Ireland. He joins me on the line to find out how they feel about this. You're not happy, Adrian, with this proposal?
Absolutely not. This is another nanny-state solution by the Minister for Health. We in the Restaurant Association of Ireland are totally opposed to printing calories on menus. The way to dealing with obesity in this country is dealing with education in our schools, educating young people about healthy eating, healthy food. So, for example, when you talk about calories, there's more calories in an avocado than there is in a Mars bar, which is the better food to eat, an avocado, obviously. So it's about education is the most important thing that we need to be dealing with here.
Okay, but wouldn't this help to change, what people might order off a menu? For example, I saw earlier on that a chocolate brownie, for example, which I would love, happens to contain over 800 calories. If you see it on the menu, it might make you think twice.
Well, who's going to police this? Who's going to test this in restaurants? Is there people going to take away a plate from customers, bring away the food and test it to see if the accuracy of the calories on the menu is exactly what it is on the dish? I don't think they are. I think this is another PR stunt by the Minister for Health, who's trying to divert away from the scandal, which is the Children's Hospital, and trying to divert the attention from that issue that people have no interest in whatsoever.
Do you think it would turn people off?
I think it will, and I think the former Minister of Health, James Riley, proposed calories on menus as a voluntary measure. All the fast food restaurants in Ireland have it on their menu, on their display boards in their premises. What the current minister wants to do is that if you're going into a Michelin star restaurant for a treat or a night out once a quarter or once a year, that you're going to have to see calories on the dish. The chef won't be able to come up with the calorific content of that within a day. It just won't happen. What you will have, you'll have certain businesses making it up as they go along. And who's going to police this is what we're asking.
Okay, so some restaurants have already adapted and have already placed calories on their menus, obviously in a voluntary way. You're saying that this is completely impractical for restaurants that may have a different menu every day or may have a chef's choice or whatever. It will be impossible for them to do that.
Absolutely, totally impossible to do that every day or every week, because this is another cost. Everybody that I can see on Twitter now talking about this, they're all saying this is another cost for their business, that you have to sit down, and that's a labour cost, because you have to sit down, add up the calories, and a lot of people are not trained in how to count the calories on different ingredients in dishes. They have to be trained to do that. I think there's other things that the industry, that the Minister of Health should be dealing with. And the one thing that we always talk about is that there needs to be educating the next generation of young people to deal with healthy eating.
So in terms of restaurants implementing this, if it comes to pass, you obviously don't believe it's the role of restaurants to help curb what is an obesity crisis here.
The obesity crisis is an issue that each individual person in this country needs to deal with themselves individually. And, if I go into a restaurant and I order two burgers and chips and whatever else, I know what I'm ordering, and I know that I could order something more healthy myself. I mean, this idea has been talked about and discussed over the last number of years, and in our opinion, it won't work. It's unworkable, it's unpoliceable, and this is another PR stunt, as I said, to divert away from the scandal that is the Children's Hospital.
Adrian Cummins from the Restaurant Association of Ireland, thanks very much indeed for joining us on 98 FM.
Thanks.
All right, I'd like to hear from you on 6797981. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. Now, we did run a very brief poll just to get your opinions on this and find out whether or not you think it's a good idea to calorie count the menus in restaurants. 64% of you are in favour of this idea. You like the idea of calorie counting on menus. And then you go to order your 14-ounce rump steak, and it is 833 calories. And then you want to add a bit of pepper sauce, and it's 68 calories. We're really asking whether or not you like the idea of having your food calorie counted so that you know what you're eating. Peter, you think this is great news?
Absolutely, Adrian. Good morning. Yeah, I think it's fantastic news. People need to know what they're putting in their mouths, to be honest.
I was given the example of a dessert that I would love, and that would be a warm chocolate brownie with ice cream. Okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You're going to eat some, I think, yeah, for sure. You know what? We all love a good chocolate brownie.
Okay, but I might be put off that when I see, and this is, like I said, I'm quoting from the Wetherspoons menu. Now, Wetherspoons are in a kind of an all right position because they produce the same food every day. A restaurant where there might be a chef special on today, they're not going to be able to do it as easily as you just heard. But anyhow, I look at the menu and I'm fancying a warm chocolate brownie with ice cream and discover that it's got 804 calories in it.
Yeah, there's a reason.
No, but the point is that, you know, I want to be able to go out without having to feel guilty about whether or not I have a chocolate brownie or not.
Yeah, no, look, Adrian. Like the way I see it is, right. I can go out and eat a chocolate brownie, right, and that has 800 calories on it because I know I can burn it off the next day. But the problem is that there's a lot of greed out there as well. People will sit down and eat that, and then they'll eat another one, or they'll have a coffee afterwards, and it's not knowing when to stop. You know what I mean? So yeah, you can have your 800 calorie rump steak. You know what I mean? You can have your 800 calorie brownie at the end. But that has to be it. You have to know where to stop. So people need to learn a bit of control with calories. So that's why I think it's a great idea, is knowing actually your calorie intake for the day, whether it's 2,200 or 1,500 calories for the day. When you surpass that, then you know you've actually passed the limits of where you need to go with your calorie intake for the day. And knowing that and educating people about calories is a great idea. Okay, so by seeing the calorie count on the menu, you can decide you might have your chocolate brownie, but you'll have something with less calories for your main course or whatever. Well, that's it. Like if you know that you have a calorie intake for the day, whether it's 1,500, 2,200 calories a day, you go past that, you know you're in the red zone. But you're in the green zone once you're in your certain amount of calories you're supposed to have. I'm not 100% sure what it is for men and women, right? But a man, let's say, can have 2,200 calories a day, right? Mm-hmm. If he burns that 2,200 calories a day, then he's able to surpass that. Do you understand? But if he's not able to burn the 2,200 calories and he eats more than 2,200 calories, that's when he starts putting on weight, and that's where obesity and weight gain kicks in. You know, because your metabolism isn't quick enough to burn that type of stuff. So having that calorie count is perfect for people to be able to say to themselves, this is the amount of calories my body's allowed to have for the day. So if I eat any more than that...
Do we not know, Peter? For example, I treat myself on a Saturday morning in a local place near where I live to a lovely big fry-up on a Saturday morning, yeah? Yeah. And that's my little treat. I don't have a fry-up any other day of the week, and on a Saturday I treat myself to a fry-up because I love it. So,
which is great. Brilliant.
Yeah. However... when I look at the calories for example, on the Wetherspoons menu, an all-day breakfast, 1,408 calories. Good God Almighty!
It's heart attack material if you eat it every day.
Well, obviously I don't eat it every day, but that would put me off ever eating it.
But that's the thing, Adrian. I think the idea is for people to realise that even though it's a high amount of calories, in moderation is best. Not every single day. This is coming from somebody, Adrian, that had a cholesterol level of 7 nearly. I was at the age of 22. I was eating breakfast rolls every single day, and only for my wife, my girlfriend at the time, she's now my wife, had turned around and said to me, "You know what, Pierre, I was getting pains in my chest, Adrian, just walking down the street." I went into the hospital, into Vincent's. They done a cholesterol level check on me, and they were shocked. And they turned around and said to me, "You could have a heart attack at any single time because of the amount of crap calories you put into your body, and it's causing your cholesterol levels go through the roof." And this is somebody that was playing football 2 or 3 times a week, and I was still eating that type of stuff. So knowing what you're eating makes it better for you to be able to prevent anything like that happening. So
you reckon it's a great idea. I'd love to hear from you on 6797981. Do you support the introduction of a calorie count on menus in restaurants? Now, we know, for example, that most of the fast food restaurants have already done this, but it is a little bit easier for them because they're churning out the same burgers day after day and whatever. So it is easier for them. Companies like Wetherspoons do it. Again, it's easier for them because they have the same menu every day. I'd love to hear from you. Would it put you off your food or not? We're back in a sec.
98 FM's Dublin Talks with Des Kelly Interiors. New store now open at Belgard Road, Tala.
98 FM.
And this is Adrian Kennedy with you until midday. Let's take another couple of calls on what we're talking about. And that is a proposal from the Minister for Health, Simon Harris. It headlines on one newspaper today. Law will force restaurants to display calories. And we're asking whether or not you think this is a good idea. Now, we have one item off a menu here that's very popular, and it is crispy chicken Caesar salad. Okay, very popular. And I would like you to guess. how many calories are in this. So crispy chicken Caesar salad. This is off one particular menu. Have a guess at how many calories are in that. Text or WhatsApp your answer to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Crispy chicken Caesar salad, how many calories do you think are in that? Now, Lorraine, you actually do look at the calories, but doesn't bother you one way or the other?
No, absolutely not. Good God, no. If that was the case, why would you go out for something to eat? You're going out for a nice meal. You're not going to sit there, I can't have that. I can't have that. What is the point? I mean, good God, what are they going to come up with next? Seriously, I mean, you go out and you're going for a meal. You're not going to be looking, I can't. No, there's too many calories in that. What are they supposed to do? Sit there drinking a glass of water? I think that's madness. If you don't want a dessert, don't have a dessert.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When I look at the menu and I see, that such and such an item on the dessert is, the dessert menu is 804 calories. Another item might be just 400 calories. Is it not going to encourage me to go for the one with less calories?
Well, it wouldn't encourage me. I don't eat a dessert anyway, but if I wanted it, as you just said there a while ago, a chocolate brownie with ice cream, I would eat it. It wouldn't bother me that it was more calories than, say, a creme brulee or a yogurt. But, I mean, seriously, I don't honestly believe that people who are going out for a meal, if you're going out to a nice restaurant and you're looking forward to it for a couple of nights or a week or wherever you have it planned, you're not going to be sitting there scouring through the menu, looking for something that's under your calorie intake for the day. I don't honestly believe people do that. And if Simon Harris is doing this because of obesity in young children, I think it stems back to kids not getting enough of exercise.
I actually agree with you 100%, I have to be honest.
Playing with the PlayStation.
Yeah.
You don't see kids playing out in the street anymore because they're on their phones, they're on their computer games. There's no kids going, I mean, I'll probably get slated for this. I mean, you see the young kids, like as in
4 and 5 year olds who are out on their little scooters or their bikes or their cars, but the older kids don't.
No, I actually agree with you 100%.
Physically in a sport.
And when I think of how much running and exercise we did when we were kids, compared to what I see kids now, you're absolutely right, and I do agree that that's part of the problem. Anyway, back to the menus. It doesn't bother you one way or the other, does it?
No,
you're really still going to eat what you're going to eat.
I know the restaurateur that was on there a while ago. He was worrying about restaurants being affected by it. I honestly don't think they would be. People will still dine out, and it will probably make them careful in what they will order from the menu. But it wouldn't. I wouldn't be looking at it.
Okay, so it wouldn't bother you.
It wouldn't bother me. I would look at the menu and I'd say, "Oh God, look, that's blah blah blah." Say 580 calories, but I'd still order something else. It wouldn't affect me like, "Oh my God, I can't have that because..."
Okay, well, stay there for 1 second, because Shane, it would ruin the dining experience for you. Why?
Because you're to have a good time, like. You don't care, like, my God, you see people going out and, like, take for instance, my wife, and she's looking at calories and like that on the diet. You get lost, go on. I'd rather be one of me mates out and have a proper dinner. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no need to look at it. Like, you just need
so what you're saying is, if you go out for a meal, you want to be able to go out for that meal guilt-free.
Yeah, but why shouldn't you? Like, you work hard enough, you're paying for yourself. You should not be worrying about if I eat this, man, I'm going to have to drink water for the next 2 days to get rid of it around like that. Just be healthy. Like, same with your kids. What's wrong with the country is not what calories are eating. It's kids sitting in front of computers all the time. People not getting out to the parks anymore with the kids. Like, I can walk around my park now and there's no one in it. Go back 10 years ago and it was full with people, with kids playing football and doing everything else. Nowadays, kids and adults as well, they're too busy on their phones or on their iPads or sitting in the house not doing anything. That's the only problem with this calorie thing. And I don't know why he's talking about health and all that. The Minister of Health. And look at the last few Minister of Health we had. They didn't look the healthiest of people, did they?
Okay, so you think it would ruin the dining experience because you'd be guilted into having stuff with less calories, basically?
Some people would be, yeah, and I think it's wrong. You should be able to go out. It doesn't matter. No one else should have an opinion on how you live your life. If you want to go out and enjoy a meal, go out and
But surely information is key. So I'm looking at this menu here, and I know that the apple pie is 421. Although if I put ice cream on it, it's 552 calories.
Right, go out for a 40-minute walk. There's it gone.
I know, but when you look at the amount of calories on some stuff, you only have.
Fair enough. Drinking then. Then stop drinking then. There you go. I did it. If you want to worry about calories, tell people to stop drinking alcohol. Tell people to stop going to the pub and having their curries after the alcohol.
Okay, but as far as you're concerned, there is no need to be putting calories on every item on a menu.
No, because like you and me, say for me and you, we're going out and you bring your wife, I bring my wife. We're not going to go out and have a dinner at 3 o'clock in the daytime and then go out and have a 4-course meal at night. What you're going to do is you're going to have a sandwich, say, listen, we're going out for a meal tonight. We'll just have a quick sandwich about 3 o'clock and then you're going to have a meal at night time.
All right, no need for it. Where am I going now? Donna, your partner works as a chef, is that right?
Yeah, he is. He's a chef nearly 15 years now, and he did say that they tried to bring this in before. Mm-hmm. And when he questioned the health inspectors about it, he said, like, what was the point in putting this out on the menus? That he said, how is it going to work? Because it's going to cost a fortune. It's over €100 just to test one product to see what calories are in it. So for them to test a whole menu, it's going to cost quite a lot of money.
Like, yeah, in fact, I was reading earlier on that it could cost an individual restaurant up to $5,000.
Yeah. So he was saying, like, especially he works in a gastropub, and they do have set things that are on the menu every day, but they change it up now and again, like on weekends and different specials.
Yeah, so I should imagine a restaurant that might have, this weekend a chef special, where, the chef decides in the middle of the week, okay, this weekend I'm going to do whatever it is he's going to do. In order for him to actually do his chefs, it is to take the spontaneity out of a restaurant.
Yeah, well, that's it, and it's the expense, and he said it kind of takes them away from the cooking end with more paperwork, and he said now there's so many apps you can get to calorie count that if people are interested in their calories,
why don't they just have their apps on the phone and they can find it out that way, you know? Like, he just said it's a lot of work and a lot of money, more so for a lot of places, that people don't realise what goes on in the background, that it's not just going in and guessing what the calories are. So when he did say to the health inspector, he said it more than likely will be just estimates from places, and she agreed with him. Like, she said, yeah, it probably will be that, sorry.
All right, so it's a lot of extra work to provide this service.
Yeah, if you're going to do it the right way and not just like through the apps. He said even the apps are probably only giving you an estimate, but to get a product actually tested, the expense that's going to go into it, and especially when you're changing your menu now and again and you don't have something the same all the time.
Okay, so it's easier for chains like Wetherspoons who are doing the same food every day, or a fast food restaurant doing the same food every day. It's easier for them to do it than it is for a lot of restaurants that might change their menu regularly. Let me have a listen to this WhatsApp voice message.
Adrian, I absolutely agree with the calorie count. I go down to the Bray restaurant in Clontarf a lot of Sundays, and it does make a difference to what I eat when I see the calories on it. I think it's a great idea. It's just about control, really. I think it's really good. I wish more restaurants did it. There you go. Thank you.
Dara, you're a personal trainer. You manage 2 gyms, and you're saying this has to happen. Why?
Oh, yeah, definitely has to happen. I mean, I sit with people every single day of the week, and people are saying to me, like, oh, I'm going out on Saturday, what can I have to eat, or what should I be eating, or what's the best choices, like, you know? And it's like, it is, there was a chap on earlier on saying everything in moderation, and it is everything in moderation, but it has to be within the control. And if you have to have a control on your calories, and if you understand the control on your calories, you can have the chocolate muffin, you can have your few gins, you can have your few beers, but once you stay within your calorie count, you still should be losing weight or within weight or maintaining weight along the line. You know, but I think it's definitely a step in the right direction for everybody to be understanding where their food is coming from, where their fats, where their proteins, where their carbs are coming from, and how much calories are affecting us. Like, you know, everything is handed to us. We can buy stuff off the shelf really easy now, and it's full of calories, and people don't know what's in that product. Whereas at least if you have an idea what the calories are, they're able to see what they're taking in on a daily basis, and it might make people more aware of, Jesus, that's bad for me. What can I do instead of it? What can I have instead of it? You know?
Yeah, okay, I do understand what people are saying about, you know, you need to be informed, you need to know what you're eating and all of that. But when you're out in a restaurant, and, you know, we go to a restaurant as a treat. We don't, you know, most of us don't eat in a restaurant every day of the week, so it's a little treat for us. You know full well that the chocolate brownie that you're ordering for dessert has a few more calories than you probably should be eating, but it is a treat. Is it not going to ruin that whole dining experience when you're, oh, Jesus, no, I can't have the chocolate brownie. Look at the amount of calories in that. No, right, okay, I'll leave that.
But if you spin it the other way, Adrian, and you look at it and say to yourself, right, this person in front of me that I would deal with might be wanting to lose weight. And if I say to them, I just want you to eat broccoli, rice and chicken for the next 3 weeks, or the next month, or the next 8 weeks, they're not going to stick to that. They're not going to be able to adhere to that diet. Whereas if I say to them, right, this is your calorie control, you're able to go out, you can still have your meal out with your family, you can also still have your brownie, they get that effect off it. They're still thinking, geez, I'm still eating kind of dirty here, but I'm still going to be losing weight, or I'm still going to be within my calorie account, and I'm still going to feel good at the end of a week, you know? Whereas if they don't understand the control that they're in on a day-to-day basis or a week-to-week basis, they're going to overeat, and then they're going to come in and they're going to be annoyed with you, or they're going to be like, you know, oh, I went out one day and I had a brownie and that sent me over the edge, and they shouldn't be feeling guilty for eating these products. You know, they shouldn't have to feel guilty for eating these products. But
your point, yeah, okay. So, but your point is that if you do have that chocolate brownie, you need to know that you've had that chocolate brownie and make allowances for it. Is that really what you're saying?
Exactly, yeah. But I do agree with, there was a caller on earlier on, and the chap from the board of restaurants, and he was saying about the education, and I do think it comes back down to the education. I think it's a big thing that we do lack in this country is education around food, and it does have to start in the schools. We do have to start teaching people earlier understanding foods, and I did mention it in the text when I sent it in, that one of the points is, you know, the culture in the country and the work in the country has changed in the last 30 years. We used to be a very high outgoing manual labour kind of country, and now a lot of the stuff is
the exact opposite. Yeah,
we're going into it, but the diets haven't changed to match the output of the people. You know, there's people that are still, you know, there was farmers, they were out, you know, they have their breakfast, they go out to work, they're lugging stuff around all day, they go back in, they have a big mammy plate dinner, and they lash a load of food into them, and that was grand because they were out burning the calories. Now you have Joe Bloggs who's sitting at a desk, you know, he's having this high breakfast, he's having this high calorie breakfast, he goes in, sits at his desk, he has 3 sugars in his coffee, he has a chocolate bar, he goes and has a massive lunch, goes back to his desk, and then he goes home and has the dinner or puts the dinner on or whatever, and then he sits down and he's watching telly or he's watching the match, he's having a beer, you know, and the calorie intake of that day, and he hasn't burned anything, he hasn't done anything in that day. The calorie intake of that day is all sitting down in the gut, it's building up over weeks and months, and that person then becomes obese, and then what you get is, you get a knock-on effect on the health service, which is people are sick. You know, you have...
Do me a favour, Dara.
Obesity.
Okay, do me a favour. Stay on the line there for 1 second. There's actually quite a lot of interest in this. And we're asking whether or not you are in favour of the idea of introducing calorie counting to menus. Text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. And you can also send us a WhatsApp voice message to that same number 0877 98 98 98, just like this person did.
Sorry, but that can't be true. Like, I count my calories myself in my day-to-day life, and if I'm able to make up my dinner knowing exactly how many calories are in it by weighing each ingredient, surely restaurants can do it when they're making one portion of the meal and calorie it out and put that on the menu. It's not that big a deal. The more information that people have for their meals while they're out, the better. It means you can be more health conscious. And people nowadays are much more conscious about their health and will benefit from having this on menus in restaurants.
Okay, thank you. After the break, I'll be giving you the amount of calories in what you might think is a healthy option, a crispy chicken Caesar salad. You'd be shocked by this.
98 FM's Dublin Talks with Des Kelly Interiors. New store now open at Belgard Road, Tala.
98 FM.
64% of you who took part in our quick poll are in favour of the idea of calorie counting on menus in restaurants. This is something that the Minister for Health, Simon Harris, has said will come in within the next year. A law will force restaurants to display calories. Restaurants are saying it'll actually cost them a fortune to get everything calorie counted, and that for certain restaurants that might change their menus regularly, this is just not a runner. Or if it is a runner, then you won't have any variety in restaurants. You won't have a chef suddenly this morning deciding, oh, you have a great idea for a chef special. No, sorry, Mr. Chef, you're going to have to go and count every single calorie in that dinner before you decide to spontaneously have a chef special. Have a listen to this WhatsApp voice message.
The calories on the menus are just for people that are looking after themselves, that want to know how many calories is in a certain meal, because they're on so many calories a day, you know, they don't go over that, and if you do go over that, you know how much to burn then. So it's only really for the person that's looking after themselves, you know, a healthy person. Joe Bloggs doesn't care, like, you know, so he'll just eat and eat and eat and sit down and sit down and sit down, you know.
Okay, there you go. He's saying to the average person, it won't matter a jot. It does just depend, though, on what way the calories are displayed. And in fact, I was reading about this earlier on, that it will be more impactful if the calorie count is in red letters and maybe much bigger than the actual size of the menu text. So it just jumps out of the page at you. So you can't just ignore it because it's in your face. Amanda, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Amanda.
How are you, Adrian? Are you well?
I'm good, thanks, Amanda. You've been dieting. You're dieting at the moment.
Well, I wouldn't call it a diet now, Adrian. I'd call it more a lifestyle change.
Oh, okay.
To be honest with you.
All right, okay, fair enough.
I stick to a ketogenic eating plan, basically.
Right, that sounds painful. What is that?
How that works is they call it high fat, moderate protein, low carb. Now, when you're talking about high fat, you're talking about high healthy fats, like your avocados are healthy, your coconut oil, your MCT oil, your nuts, seeds, that sort of thing. We're not talking chocolate bars and crisps and all that crap, you know?
Right.
And it's working for me, so what can I say?
Right. So, do we need to have calorie counts on our menus?
I think probably for those that are into the calories in, calories out model, yes. But ideally, the less processed the food you eat, the less impact it has on your blood sugar or your insulin level. And the thing people don't realise is, right, you go into McDonald's, you have a burger and you have the bun. The fat and the sugar together cause an insulin spike. Your insulin levels stay high for hours, Adrian. They don't just go up and then come down. So, and then after an hour, you're hungry again. So you eat something else that's highly processed. Your insulin levels go up again, and you're constantly living in an insulin high state, which, as everybody knows, insulin is the fat storage hormone. So okay, so what difference will having a calorie count on a menu make to me? To you, it depends. I mean, in my opinion, my honest opinion, for those that believe in counting calories, then it's a good thing for them. I don't worry about the calories yet. I honestly don't. I went out for my dinner last Sunday, and what did I have? I'll tell you what I had. I had a 10-inch sirloin, no, a 10-inch steak, a 10-ounce steak. I had garlic butter. I had all the vegetables. I didn't have the potatoes, and I didn't have the fried onions and the fried mushrooms. But it was gorgeous, and I was stuffed after it.
All right, so there is a need for it for certain people who are watching their calories. Where am I going next? Tracy.
Yeah.
Tracy, you think this is a great idea?
Oh, yeah, it is. I often go to, the restaurant Bay in Clontarf, and they have like the calories on the menu. I went there last Sunday, I think it was, and they had like a burger and chips that was nearly 1,000 calories, and they had like a hake dish and I had like vegetables and stuff in it, but that was like 390 calories, and the burger and chips was nearly 1,000 like calories.
Right. Okay,
so I was like, I like this anyway.
That's what I was about to say. Does that make that choice easier for you?
I did. When I see it in front of me, I'm like, if you're trying to be healthy, I'd often go there. They have another restaurant as well, the Fishbone. I think they have the calories on it as well.
So having the calories in front of your eyes made it easier for you to make a choice as to what you were going to have.
I did, yeah, definitely. And especially if, like, maybe you did want to have a little bit of ice cream afterwards, and then if you're going, like, having, like, a burger and chips, and then you're going having, like, as you said, like
a chocolate brownie or whatever, yeah. I'm wondering whether or not this might be a good idea, because I would have thought something like a crispy chicken Caesar salad would be, a healthy option. And then I discover, and I mentioned this earlier on, it has 695 calories. Even though
I know that's a lot.
Yeah, it really is.
I know, because it's all the dressings and stuff as well that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, 695 calories. I was like, really? Oh my God.
Yeah.
So, I might have my all day breakfast instead.
Yeah. True.
Stay there for a second. Let me just. Sorry, lads. What number was that WhatsApp you wanted me to play? We'll try and. Okay, sorry, I'll find it now. 1 second. Dara, just with regard to our obesity epidemic, this is another aid to dealing with this, is it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like it's a part of what we all need to learn. People need to understand what calories are and where they come from and how we get them into our body. But I mean, like that girl that was talking about ketogenic diet. Ketogenesis and getting yourself into a ketogenic state. Any kind of, and the word as well, this whole word of diet, we need to disassociate ourselves from. This is a thing that's destroying us as well. Everybody has a diet. We choose whether it's good, bad, or balanced. Everybody has a diet. You have a diet, I have a diet, we all have a diet. This whole thing of going on a diet shouldn't be a thing. Everybody should be on a diet as it is, and they just follow a good, bad, or balanced diet. But whether you go into ketosis, whether you follow the Slim and World model, whether you follow the Atkins model, whether you follow any of these kind of models that are around, whether you're high fat, high carbs, low fat, low carbs, they all come down to a calorie control, whether you count them or not. They all take, some of them will take carbs out of your diet, some of them will take proteins out of your diet, some of them will go higher fat. At the end of the day, they control. And the control that you're within is your calories. And if you are overeating in your calories, you are in a surplus and you will put on weight. And that is science. That is maths. That is energy into the body versus energy out of the body. And that's just flat line. That's it.
So this suggestion of calorie counting menus is a good idea then. Let me just bring in one last message.
If I had access to a menu with the number of calories on it, absolutely I would make a more informed choice on what I'm going to eat. I lost over 30 kilos by watching the calorie count inside food that I eat. And I think it's a great idea. Long overdue.
Okay, he lost 30 kilos, fair play. And in fact, he sent a photograph to us of himself and his girlfriend or wife before and after they both lost weight from calorie counting. So there you go. All right, they do. They look like completely different people in the photographs. All right, that's it. We've no more time. Barry Dunn is on the way. He's here in the next hour with some great music lined up like these. See you tomorrow.
FM's Dublin Talks with Des Kelly Interiors. New store now open at Belgard Road, Tala.
98 FM.